Hey, we're talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Up next on Geek Out SA. Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube video. We control the stream. And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday and we're having fun.
Except Vincent just sang a song, part of a Disney song for me, and now I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah,
now...
it wasn't part of it. I didn't sing part of the Disney song.
Yes. I want to be what
I changed the lyrics.
It's from a Disney song.
I changed the lyrics.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay.
But I don't actually listen to you, so I just heard you like, and then I was like all Little Mermaid.
And you know how Colleen just makes it all up in her head.
I do. I just make it all up. So I was like,
so talking about Disney, on Disney Plus, they have a show on there. I think
that segue was
today is the last episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's not, or is it gonna keep going?
How would I know? I don't pay attention to that show. This is the 6th one.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, this is the last one.
No, we
Yeah.
can't watch it then.
Hey, at least you and Vincent watch it. Most of the time, I'm either napping or on my sofa playing a game while you're watching.
You're there playing the game, but I feel like the last episode we watched was like the best one out of all of them.
I mean, I don't know that
because we kind of like see what we were wanting to see the entire time, but they have to like build the story.
What have we been wanting to see the entire time?
We want to see the Falcon and the Winter Soldier fight.
Right.
Well, not each other, but like fight.
Not necessarily
fight.
each other, but fight.
Fight together. Yeah.
I think that it's been a lot of build up for some characters that I don't necessarily have. Like, I don't know that I care about them one way or another. To me, like, I was trying to describe it to Vince earlier. I was like, Bucky is like the Eeyore of Marvel, right? He's like, everything sucks. Everything's dead. I'm an old soldier who's been used.
I have a different look on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I think it was kind of directed at our generation, which a lot of stuff is. But did you see the buddy cop? It's kind of like a buddy cop show.
Like, kind of, right?
It's kind of. It has a feeling like Lethal Weapon.
Kind of, yeah. So here's this, like, neurotic freak, Mel Gibson
Riggs,
slash, Bucky,
mm-hmm.
right? And he's like self-destructive, and he's kind of like a hot mess. And then here's, Danny Glover versus like Falcon, and
mm-hmm.
he's like the one who makes more sense, but he kind of like sometimes get wrapped up in like, the other dude's neurosis. And so, yeah, I can kind of see that tie together. I do kind of see that.
What you watch of it?
Yeah, no, I just kind of watch it.
It was kind of slow to start.
It's not.
As
it's just like they're not
are.
characters that I really cared about to begin with.
Well, they're kind of fringe characters. Almost.
Right.
Because even the Falcon was in there, but he wasn't in there from the very beginning.
But when we watched WandaVision, I mean, Wanda and Vision are kind of fringe characters too, if you think about it. They're in there a little bit, and there's a whole movie with Bucky and Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen them. It's not like we haven't seen them. There
right.
was just something, I don't know, maybe because Wanda's like loss resonated with me, and like I understood what she was going through, and I like really liked that. I don't connect as much, I think. And I don't think it's just because Wanda's a girl and I'm a girl. Like, that's not right. Why. I just think I connected more with Wanda
story.
And Vision and their story and the storyline versus this seems like kind of tropey. Like, Sam was supposed to be the cat, he was supposed to take up the shield, and then he doesn't, and then he's got to go through these trials to learn why he probably should have taken up the shield,
Yeah.
Anakin, leave it. Sorry.
why he should have taken up the shield.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, but like I say, if you see it through the eyes of like watching like Lethal Weapon, it kind of changes the whole dynamic of the show.
Yeah, and I hadn't thought about that way, and you hadn't like kind of told me to think
I haven't
about
talked
it
to
that
you
way.
because
No.
I wanted to be
No,
a
because
surprise
you
for
wanted to surprise me on the show, which you totally did. And so now I'm kind of having to revisit it and rethink about it that way. And I think because it's not that I hated the show,
because it wasn't. It's not something that we've been given from Marvel before. We haven't been given a buddy cop genre.
I mean, kind of. Yeah, we kind of get that with like
with what?
We kind of get that with Tony Stark and Bruce Banner. We kind of get that.
Thor,
We kind of get that with Thor and Bruce Banner. We kind of get that when they kind of pair them up. That's kind of what they kind of go back to a lot of the time.
But it's like little bits of it.
One of them.
This one is like focused on those two and their journeys together, leading up and together.
Yeah.
So that's all you're left with. Whereas when they're putting them together, yeah, they're putting them together, but not for a very long time. You don't get the buddy feel with Thor and Hulk.
I think you do.
It's not as much.
It's not the same.
It's
yeah,
not the
I see
same
what you
thing.
see. It's more of a like comedic link.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of like two bumbling cops, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's Thor and the Hulk. I will say that one of the things that I really appreciate about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is they're really trying to think about how everybody's lives will be after the blip, right? Mm-hmm. And so we see Sam going in and trying to get a loan and trying to do this business with his sister. And even though the guy is a fan and is kind of fanboying and wants to take the picture with him and everything, he's still like, well, that's all cool, but like, where's your income for 5 years? And they're like, well, we didn't exist. So they're caught in this like loop of government mess. And then I kind of love where he's like, well, can't Tony Stark just like float you some money? Like, you know, Tony Stark, right? And you kind of think, why can't Tony Stark just float him some money? Like, you know, oh wait, Tony's dead.
He's dead.
Oh, Tony's dead. So then you're like, oh, sad face. You're all traumatized again by Tony's death. But I like that they're doing a continuation of that storyline and that we're still kind of in that part of the universe, and it's showing some of those human things of how they're trying to navigate that. And I know a lot of people like are really harsh on the guy who's Captain America, and I can't think of his name.
Yeah, that's another one that I wanted to bring up. The new Captain America. Wyatt first Russell. I started seeing
Wyatt Russell. Kurt Russell's son. But his character is a Captain America in the comics. So it's not like Disney like just came out of this out of nowhere. This character is a Captain America character.
He's like Kurt Russell's and Goldie Hawn kid?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened?
He looks like his dad. If you look at him, he looks like his dad. You can see it.
You can see it.
You can see it.
You can watch tonight.
But you think he would be better looking? I mean, if you have two parents like that.
Well, you know, it's genetic roulette, so you know you kind of get whatever.
Because
you get.
The first thing that I saw, like after we saw the episode where the new Captain America came out, we saw the old man from Up. And it was like a cartoon rendition as him as Captain America because that's what he looked like with the nose.
Yeah.
However, I don't know if it was the lighting or something. That lighting of him when we first saw him was like horrible because it made him look like that. But as we saw it after that, he didn't look like that anymore.
Well, he's supposed to be like, it's supposed to be showing how special Captain America was, right? That not anybody can just step into Steve's shoes.
Yeah. Just
because you have the shield. And even this guy who's very decorated as a soldier, who loves America, but because he didn't have to go through the journey that Steve had to go through, where Steve wanted to help, but he was thin, and so he had been beat down. And it's like the juxtaposition, right? Here's the geek who kind of grew up, got big, becomes Captain America Steve versus the jock who's already always been there. He's always been like captain of the football team.
Yeah.
He's always gotten all the medals and everything. He's used to being a winner. And so it's showing us that dichotomy between
it was
the two.
The thing is that Steve had his heart. And that's why in the movie he was selected to take it, is because of his heart.
Right. But that was what they saw in him. Yeah. And that was what was important. Mm-hmm. And they feel like when they pick this new Captain America, not only do they feel like the world needs a Captain America, so they've got to pick somebody, but this guy has shown his heart in their minds. He's shown it because he's gotten all of these accolades and he's done all this stuff in battle and everything. But he's more about force, where Steve was more about like doing what was right and thinking it through and reasoning. And this guy, and then we see when he gets the chance to take the super soldier serum, because in his mind that's what made Steve special. He still doesn't understand that Steve was special and Steve was Captain America because of who Steve was as a person. He just thinks, oh, this serum. And yet they all know that all these other people aside from Steve took the serum and none of them turned out great, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, Bucky's like, okay, he's come back after a lot of time and help and training and time in Wakanda and everything. So, you know, Bucky's there-ish, not great. He's still like Eeyore in my opinion, but you know, he's not there.
But it's Disney, so
yeah. So it might as well be Eeyore, right?
Will be Eeyore.
So to see this other Captain America.
So this new Captain America has a new suit.
Right.
And
because he's like more modern, right?
He's more modern, but there's like more red in there, so it kind of that threw me off a bit for the bloodshed that he's going to do.
Yeah.
It's foreshadowing, and I was looking at it, I was like, oh man.
Well, and you know, just by hearing him talk, right? And maybe it's just because we're geeks and we've grown up with all those jock heads, right? And so you know, just by hearing the dialogue that they've set him up with, that he's kind of a jerk, right? You know that he's not the right person to be Captain America because he's kind of pompous. You know, he's foolhardy. He acts before he thinks, you know. He's all about muscle, right? Let's just muscle through. And when I play an RPG, that's the kind of character I love. Like, I want a good sword and I just want to be stupid and muscle through everything and hack it up, and you know, if I lose a limb or whatever.
He was all muscle through, but he wasn't like Steve in the same way, to where Steve would just keep getting up and say, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
And he just didn't have that same dynamic. He may have some strength and stuff, but I don't think he has the stamina that Steve ever had.
Well, he has that, what I think of as like the Kylo Ren factor, where if it's not going the way he wants because he's used to being kind of powerful, right? Then I'm going to throw a tantrum. I'm going to kick and scream and throw a fit, and we see that.
Hence Disney.
Yeah, Disney. We see that a lot in different comics and things like that. And I think it's just in general, we think of these big brutish guys as being that way. Like, if I'm not getting what I want. And that was the problem with the last episode that he ruined, and we knew he was going to, right? I mean, we're not stupid. We've seen all these things before. So we see Sam talking to her, and he's getting through to her, which is very much like something Steve probably potentially would have done, right? So he's thinking, he's reasoning, he's giving some logic, right? He's trying to kind of talk her down, and he's getting close. And then here comes the big bull in a china cabinet. Can't wait, can't think, destroy. And then that messes up everything that Sam's tried to do. And so we're back at square one.
So what are your thoughts on Agent Carter's niece?
Like, I don't see what the point of her is, but...
I think I do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
So I think they're going to try to spin off with her.
Well, I figured they were going to do something where they could say, well, we had a chicken here, you know.
They built it up to where she has her own faction where she is, because she was kind of like thrown out and she's kind of like on the run.
She reminds me of
The nurse practitioner from The Resident.
Because she is.
Because she is.
No, of like Jason Bourne or something.
Yeah.
I get that kind of Jason Bourne vibe, and I like her as an actress. I just feel like she has been kind of an aside. And maybe they're, like you're saying, they're laying the groundwork and they're building her up to something, but I think they could have done a better job
because
laying the groundwork.
You don't think she's being set up to be the bad person in the series? Big bad that we haven't seen?
See, that's what I was getting.
I don't know.
I thought that she's a double crossing and she's behind. Yeah, that was my thought, but we'll see.
That would be shocking. I wouldn't expect that.
We expected it.
We expected
it, yeah. Because they're only alluding to her a little bit, and they're kind of not developing her real great, so it's like kind of shadowy, and like that you think that she's.
I didn't even think of it like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking they were laying groundwork for her to take on the moniker of Agent Carter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, so what are your thoughts about the quintessential, we've got to have our bad guy that we broke out because, yeah, he's bad, but his agenda meant well. Okay, Lex Luthor, like, we get it. You mean well, but you're really bad at it, okay? And people die, So how do you feel about his character? I think they're doing enough of, like, at least they're trying to do enough of, like, keeping you wondering, like, is he going to stab him in the back?
They needed to link up with the movies.
Right.
And that was a good way to do it. Mm-hmm. And I think that was probably one of the best ways they could have done it.
I mean, I like the character and I like the actor, and I liked the whole scene where they established where he was, like, talking to the kids. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, he's gonna double cross him, and then it looks like he doesn't double cross him, and then it looks like he does double cross him. Like, so they did, especially on that last episode, I thought they did much better, kind of keeping us off of our toes about.
But they kind of set it up like the Scarlet Witch and what's his name, the speedster, Quicksilver, because they were on the wrong side at first.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's kind of like an anti-hero that's going to help him out throughout the...
Right, because when you listen to him talk, like, and that's what I was saying, he's
a
bad guy,
for the right reasons.
Right. He's a bad guy, but he has good reasons behind...
Went around it.
Yeah.
Went around it the wrong way.
Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, I kind of don't have a problem with his character. I think they're doing a fairly good job with his character. And then bringing in the character from Wakanda. Sorry. I wonder when we're going to start seeing some more in Wakanda. If we're going to get
if we're going to have more of an explanation of what happens to T'Challa.
Mm-hmm. To set us up for the next movie, because there's supposed to be another movie coming up that we're kind of assuming maybe his sister is going to be taking on the mantle of the Black Panther. But we're not sure yet where they're going with it. I haven't heard. I've been off social media for a while, so I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with any of that stuff. But I think they're trying to front load some stuff for us too, to lead us to where they're going. Which I think that is one thing that Marvel has been good about the whole time. Yeah.
And we're not going to spoil anything for this last episode because we haven't even seen it yet. We'll see. We always see it after the show. So. Yeah.
And there's actually.
There's like ending scene. There's
another episode next week.
Oh, there's another episode next week. Oh, okay.
6 episodes. Tonight is episode 5.
Oh, I thought tonight was episode 6.
This one has post-credit scenes.
Oh, okay.
So we have to watch for that.
Watch all the way through. So yeah, Marvel, I think, has been doing a very good job since the very beginning. I think whoever was setting it up for them really set out this timeline and said, this is how we're going to release it. I don't know how much Stan had to do with that, but it's been very intelligent as far as, like, this is how we're going to release it, because they could really keep us in this Marvel universe for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Releasing movies and shows and movies and shows and movies from shows. It's not that I hate I give you a hard time because you wanted to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't hate it. Excuse me. I don't resonate with it as much as I did WandaVision. I liked WandaVision more than I like this. But I've had time to sit down and digest WandaVision too. I haven't really thought about this one and digested it. And I probably won't until we're done. Although now I'm doing it because you're making me, because we're having this conversation on camera.
And I gave you the buddy cop thing. So.
The buddy cop thing was nice. That gave me a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay, I hate it less.
But really, when I started watching, I'm just like, oh, this is Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. So
that was cool.
So, in the comics, Bucky is supposed to be
a kid,
Captain America.
Well, yeah. But in the comics, when he first comes out, Bucky's a kid. That's kind of like his little Robin, right?
To Steve?
To Steve,
yeah.
Oh.
Like an itty bitty kid that he had, like.
It was the thing to do. Everybody had a sidekick.
Yeah.
Everybody had a sidekick. So Bucky was Steve's sidekick. Well, so a lot of people, before I got off of social media, I'm so sorry, it's been a really long week. Being a teacher is really difficult. I don't think people understand. People act like all we do is babysit, and that's not it. But anyway, that's myself. People are wondering, is Sam, like, at the end of this journey, is Bucky going to be Captain America, or is Sam going to be Captain America? So what do you think?
I don't know. Because if you look at it from the comics, Bucky becomes Captain America first. It's not till later that the Falcon becomes Captain America. So I don't know what they're going to try to do.
I
think in this day and age, what they're going to try to do is probably make the Falcon be that first. And maybe later on they switch it up to where he passes it on to him, that something happens to him, or maybe he wants to be with his family, or who knows.
I just feel like in the build-up, there's enough of a build-up to make us feel like Bucky's not really the right person to be Captain America. Not really. Whereas Sam is closer. But do they show that shift
within, like, the next season to where he switches and changes? Is like, oh, well, maybe he. I don't think any of them are going to become at the end of this season. Any of them are going to be Captain America.
Not at the end of this season.
But
isn't Bucky like 150 years old at this point or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's old enough to maybe not be making any of these big shifts, I mean, he's had a lot of time in Wakanda to kind of figure out who he is, and he knows he's damaged, right? Mm-hmm. There's just too much that's happened in his lifetime for him not to be damaged. So I just think that excludes him from being Captain America.
But if he can overcome that, doesn't that make him even more like Steve had to overcome his frailty to get to be where he is?
I mean, maybe because Bucky is the one who is
what
continually
does Falcon have
saying,
to overcome right now, other than, oh, well, I'm not as great as Steve?
Yeah. Well, and Bucky is continually saying, like, this is what Steve would have wanted. This is what Steve would have done. He's kind of got Steve's voice in his head now of, this is the way Steve would have done it, wanted it.
I think they're going to jerk us back and forth for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
And like, which one's
at first you're going to see him kind of heading up, and the Falcon heading up, then you're going to see Bucky headed up. It's going to go back and forth. Till finally one of them is going to win it.
One of them will be the ultimate Captain America. So I haven't read the comics that have the current guy who's Captain America, because he's in there as well. So I don't know what happens to him. What's the end game for him?
He becomes USA agent.
USA agent. So he's kind of like superhero-esque, but not Captain America. Like,
yeah, he's basically Captain America light.
Gotcha. He's like, they're like, you're cool and all, but you can't have this
I think
shield.
it follows fairly similar to what's going on. It's been a long time.
Been a long time since you read it.
But he also had anger issues and stuff like that. So,
which I know that they're supposed to, because these characters are supposed to be flawed. Like, that's supposed to be the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they always wrote these flaws into the characters.
Make them relatable.
Right. Because they've already got all of these, you know, super skills and everything. We wouldn't be able to tolerate them if they were like perfect human beings too. Like, they need to be flawed. So yeah, that would, I guess, just to see him kind of like get knocked down a peg or two and kind of like you're cool and all, you're a good like operative, but
no, he's not.
You're not Captain America.
Yeah, no, you don't go beating somebody to death with your shield.
Yeah, no, it's not. And while everybody's filming you, yeah, it's not what you do when you're supposed to be a hero. So
it's not a good thing.
It's not a good deal.
That's not something Captain America would do.
Instead of what would Jesus do, what would Cap do?
What would Cap do?
Language.
WWCD.
What would Cap do?
What would Cap do? So yeah, no, I've been enjoying it just because I've been looking at it as a buddy cop, situational kind of comedy adventure type of thing. Just because I grew up with that kind of stuff. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Stuart? Meh.
Kind of meh. It's okay. It's kind of.
But I like everything.
Yeah,
almost,
you like everything
except RoboCop.
Do like everything.
The remake of RoboCop, I didn't
and Fantastic Four.
And Fantastic Four.
That's pretty much like the only things you've ever said you didn't like.
I mean, it's okay, but I was expecting a little bit more out of it.
What did you think of the last episode? Was that more of along the lines of where you thought it should have been?
It's getting there. I would have thought they would have pushed some more stuff in, because they're in a place which is very X-Men centric, and there's not been anything yet.
Yeah.
Have you heard? Are they going to try to give us those connections between those two?
That would involve me getting on Facebook.
Yeah. So you've been off of social media too.
Social media in general, and I just stay away.
The only one that's on the social media now.
Stuart and I gave up. We're like, and we're done.
We're done with it.
And we're done. The puppy wants to come in here. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry, honey. Unless you ask me some questions about it, I don't have a lot about this topic, because it's not like I'm not in love with this topic. So.
So what are some of your ideas? Because we haven't seen what's going to happen next. What are some ideas of what's going to happen next in this next episode?
So I'm trying to remember what I kind of sort of listened to for the last episode. So the stuff got crushed, and then the Captain America dude took the only one that was left. So
only one that we think
is left. So
I think there's more than one left.
You think there's more? And so now, and he's ticked off the little girl who was already angry with the world. So
she's gonna try and blow up a whole heap of stuff.
Yeah, probably. She's gonna try to blow some stuff up or whatever, or destroy something, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier are gonna have to come deal with it. And then I think
Mr. Aggro, Captain America's gonna go even more aggro, and they're gonna have to try and stop him.
And they have to stop
go
him.
in and steal his shield and say, "No,
bad, Cap, bad."
You don't do that.
And then maybe like towards the end, Little Miss Sunshine's gonna come out, the chick from The Resident, and she's gonna be like, "So remember all the times I helped you, Sam? Just kidding. I've been double crossing you.
Yeah, I am the big bad.
And I've been taking this when I took the serum, and now I'm gonna kick your butt."
Yeah, and now I'm Captain America.
No, what would be the antithesis? What would be the opposite of Captain America?
No.
Lieutenant USSR. No. The Red Skull. True. Yeah, I mean, that would be my guess. And then, I guess they're going to have to maybe fight off the warriors from Wakanda a few times. And they're like, dude, I need the bad guy for a little bit longer. Like, kill him and eat his heart later or something.
What were your thoughts when she disabled his arm?
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I mean, I kind of sort of quasi-watched it, but I was like...
But it kind of like... It like threw Bucky off big time.
Well, he was with them. He was like with them forever. They're trained. They've been trained since they were little with this material that his arm is made out of. So it's not like this is new material to them. Like everything around them is made of this, and they're used to it, and they know its power, and they know how to use it. And she's specifically trained to be a warrior like that. So, yeah, I would have been disappointed had she not like kicked Bucky's butt.
But just it was like nothing disabling him, like boom, and he just like
he's like, oh,
he had no idea what to do from there.
There goes my arm. Whoopsie.
But why wouldn't she have taken it? That's why I didn't get it. It was like she disabled the arm. Why didn't she take it?
Because he's been with them for a long time, and so they have a connection to him, and they kind of like worked through.
Yeah, but she seemed like she was like ticked off at him. Like he didn't deserve it.
She's mad at him because she doesn't understand how he could give this person another chance when to her it's just all she sees is the guy that killed the king, right? So she doesn't understand how Bucky can see what Bucky sees, right?
Yeah.
And she should realize, because Bucky has gotten that second chance, because Bucky has come from the place where he was, used as a weapon and given a chance now to be more of a human being, that he can see where, given the chance, maybe other people could be more human, right? And see the error of their ways, and because Steve gave him that chance, right? So he's not her enemy, and I think because we're getting that very like that Wakanda, that tribal, you get that like, you're my enemy or you're not my enemy. There's that line that I draw, right? And if you're not my enemy, I may not love what you're doing, but you're not my enemy. So I can disable you and I can put you on the sidelines, but I'm not going to like kill you or do anything like that. Whereas if you're my enemy, you're my enemy.
I see that as another thing that he has to overcome, that Bucky needs to be more than just his arm.
He is. When he's got a gun in the other hand.
Or the knife throwing.
Yeah. But predominantly that's what he is.
Okay,
but like when it seemed like he felt useless because he didn't have that arm.
Well, shoot, if I was used to having something like that, I'd feel useless without it too.
But he has other skills with his other arm that he could have used.
Yeah, but Bucky doesn't feel like he has any worth, though. So to him, the arm may currently represent the only worth that he feels like he has. And now he's using what he used to use for bad for a little bit of good. And so that gives him a little bit of purpose and a little bit of worth, but not much. So when you take that away from him...
He's only doing it to shut his psychiatrist up.
He's pretty damaged. Yeah, he's pretty damaged. So, yeah. That's my take. Maybe I probably read too much into stuff. I always do that. I read too much into stuff and see these layers of these characters that they don't have. I read too many books, so I see characters with layers and stuff that they probably... Although in reading comics, the characters have layers. So I feel like...
There's a lot less words in
comics. If you're going to really... Well, yeah, it's like reading a play. It's like reading a play. You're getting a lot of their characterization through stage directions and stuff, basically, and through the actions and stuff. So, I don't know. I'm probably reading too much into it. That was the last time I had the conversation about Anakin and what I thought about his character, and people were like, "Where? How did you even get all of that?" Sorry. Like, I thought that's what.
Started at point A, and now I'm at point F. Keep up.
I'm like, I thought that's what everybody saw when they watched this. People don't see the same things I see. I put way more depth into these stories than maybe are there, or maybe that people can see. I don't know.
And then, what do you think is happening in the background during all of this? Because S.H.I.E.L.D. is done for right now, right? S.H.I.E.L.D. is like gone. They're not, like not a thing.
They all died in space or something, right?
Well, that's the show Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. No.
Come on, that was funny, dude. I hated that show.
Well,
that last season wasn't great.
They're setting up the new S.W.O.R.D. to be the new S.H.I.E.L.D. for a little bit.
Yeah.
Until the Skrulls come down and smack us.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I never read up on the S.W.O.R.D. So can you give us more information on that?
No. There you go.
Right there.
S.W.O.R.D. It's a pointy thing.
It goes with the shield.
I don't know.
Usually you have a sword and a shield.
No.
The shield protects you, and the sword is
S.W.O.R.D.
is specifically going
an
out
organization. But they've been hinting at it.
Yeah, and a shield is meant to protect you, and it's more defensive, and a sword is meant to poke you and kill you. It's more offensive. So they're going to be looking for more ways to get out there offensively and kill stuff before it comes to us, rather than just protecting us in case something gets here.
Yeah. The sword stuff is too new for me.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Like, if I wrote it and I was having a sword versus a shield, that's the representation that I would do.
Yeah. It first turned
defense versus offense.
First turned up in the comics in the mid 2000s. That's when I had stopped. So
yeah, that's pretty good. Well, I thought we did a pretty good
'Cause
job of...
I don't know if Nick Fury has anything to do with S.W.O.R.D. I don't know.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page.
If you all know, because, like I said, I haven't read up on anything on S.W.O.R.D. So if you all have any information on that, please let us know or post it in our comments, and maybe we'll do some more research on it, get schooled on it, because like I said, I haven't read into that. I never really read a lot of Marvel stuff. Into more recently, and some of the older stuff I didn't. Well, not older stuff. I read the older stuff, but some of the stuff that happened like in the 2000s, I didn't read much.
You're not a big reader. It's not a thing you do. You like the movies.
Book.
You like shows, but you're not a big reader.
I'll look at comic books. Anyway.
That was a good eye roll. I like that eye roll.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Get close up on that.
Cool. So we're going to be doing some cool stuff coming here in a couple of months, because we're actually going through and getting a camper. And we're going to geek it out. So keep on a watch for that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Fight with each other and argue. It'll be great.
I have a contact of mine that does wraps, and is getting some information on how to wrap that for us. So we're going to see how that's going to come. Having geek out camper.
Nothing better than having your face on the side of a camper, right, Colleen?
Yeah, that's what I always wanted for my recreational vehicle to be an advertisement for Vincent's show. Great.
Then you can write it off.
I'm gonna ride off into the sunset in my own camper by myself.
So we'll be doing that. So you'll be seeing stuff of us upgrading things. So a lot of tech videos and stuff like that, and a lot of the kind of equipment that we're going to be putting in there to like watch TV and do stuff, because it's kind of a shell that we're just buying, and we get to do like whatever we want in there. So we're gonna totally geek it out inside as well.
I'm gonna
So
dust off my sewing machine and make some Ninja Turtle curtains and a Superman blanket.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
I'm gonna throw up Geek stuff all over the inside of it, and then Vince is gonna be like, "Oh God, it's so much."
So, the Daily Mars, y'all are so cute, matching. I love it.
Oh.
Like, she stole my T-shirt.
Shh. It's rude. I borrowed it for this show.
No, but I really appreciate it. Thanks for checking this out. If you haven't clicked on the subscribe button, click on that subscribe button and click that notification icon. So next time we go live or next time we put out a video, you'll know. But thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and that's Stuart.
Geek out, SA.